Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and what you see before you is something that, in my opinion, is one of the coolest dinosaur models I have ever seen. This is a nesting Ceratosaurus, kind of a beautiful image of a female Ceratosaurus just kind of watching over her nest, and it came as, just a regular resin kit, and then of course it had to be painted. It actually doesn't need to be built. There was no parts that needed to be connected or anything. It was just fully pieced together already as far as the Ceratosaurus and then the base itself. The two can separate. As you can see, I could pick the Ceratosaurus up off of the base and then put her right back on there. But the work that actually needs to be done on this kit is very minimal. So if you are new to kits, this one here is a great choice because even with some other kits that I've promoted in the past, like some of the Micromania busts and stuff, you still needed to apply some pieces, you still needed to piece some things together. This one you do not, but this is actually by Sarah Whelan-Devan, and I have recently promoted this kit in one of my news videos to show you guys that she was officially releasing this, because previously I don't know that she's ever released a kit before. I don't believe she has. She has sold some of her models. She does a lot of really cool custom work, and a lot of really nice one-of-a-kind models that she'll sell on her Etsy store from time to time, and I will of course include a link in the description to that store where you can check out any future releases that she does put up on there. But this kit is still available and something that I highly recommend anybody checking out and purchasing, because honestly, it is so insanely beautiful here in person. I am just over the moon excited about this because it's so beautiful. It's just such a really cool scene, a very different take for a Ceratosaurus. Something you don't see very often would be a Ceratosaurus kind of, looking over its nest and stuff. Dinosaurs are usually always portrayed as, especially when it comes to theropods, like some sort of a fierce or violent scene, like an attack on another dinosaur, or just in general, some sort of a scene of like a dinosaur walking along, letting out a roar, or something generic like that, the usual type of a scene that takes place for a theropod. However, she has gone the complete opposite route here as far as this goes, and really created a beautiful, very peaceful scene, again, of a really nice mother Ceratosaurus just watching over her nest. And it's something that I, again, could not possibly be more excited about, because it's just such a cool and unique look for a model. It's something that's quite different than your average dinosaur model, and I feel like she has perfected this right here before us. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get a closer look at this right now. So if we start with the Ceratosaurus herself, you can see that straight away she is beautiful, absolutely beautiful as far as the sculpt of this Ceratosaurus goes. Again, she has done an incredible job on this model. If you ask me, whether it's the base, whether it's the dinosaur, everything is just perfect. You can see as far as the head sculpt goes, she has a very nice peaceful appearance to her. She's just kind of sitting there, again, taking a glance over her shoulder, making sure everything is okay, making sure that there's nothing getting near the nest. And you can see that it's, again, really peaceful looking in general as far as everything, as far as the head sculpt goes. Even the eyes have a very nice peaceful appearance to them. You can see as far as the head sculpt goes, it is also incredibly highly detailed. There is just detail for days up here on this head sculpt, really showing you how impressive of a sculptor she is. And you can see as we kind of turn it here, everything just looks incredible. It just looks so beautiful as far as the detailing aspect goes. Really nice scale detail up here on the face, and you can see many different varying sizes of scales within. The teeth are sculpted out right there, and you can also see that the nostrils are sculpted out up here on the snout. The detailing up there in the actual crests of the Allosaurus are also really beautiful. It really allows for some easy paint work up there and allowing it to make it look very realistic. You can also see kind of like a little bit of hanging skin here in the throat region, which I really do quite like. And you can also see that hanging skin bunching up quite nicely due to the dinosaur having its head scrunched in the position that it's in currently. And you can see a lot of really nice skin wrinkles throughout the entire neck, again showing the turn in the neck perfectly. And you can see that over here as well. Look at those skin wrinkles right here. She has perfectly portrayed that type of a turn as far as the detailing aspect goes. You could tell that there is no laziness as far as her sculpt and the amount of effort that she puts into it to make it look incredible. And that's exactly what it looks like, in my opinion. Incredible. You can see some more really beautiful scale detail as we move down the neck, as well as a line of ridges that run along the back of the Ceratosaurus. And as we continue to move down the course of the neck, again, lots of really nice scale detail, beautiful skin texturing. It gets to more of like a fine texturing here in the chest region. And again, you can see lots more kind of wrinkling and everything going on right here. And the positioning of the body, of course, is kind of up for debate as to whether a Ceratosaurus could actually pull off this positioning, but it's very dog-like, so it has a very familiar feeling, in my opinion, and that's definitely something that I feel like a lot of people can relate to and kind of take enjoyment in, is the similarities between the position of this dinosaur here currently and then maybe like a dog, because again, it's a very dog-like position. But whether or not a Ceratosaurus could actually pull this off, we don't know for sure, but I'm certain that there's a chance it could. The skin wrinkles, again, are really nicely done throughout the arms, again, showing the scrunching of the skin, and you can see that here as we turn it, you see more scrunching of the skin over here. You have a lot less of the body to look at on this side because, again, the dinosaur is laying down on its side, so you don't see as much of the body over here. As you move down into the hands, though, you can see that the hands are really well done as far as the sculpting aspect goes. You can also see the nails are sculpted out, and they generally look sharp, so it looks very realistic overall. We'll take a look at the back side here of the dinosaur before we go to the front, and you can see again that the scale detail continues to look really nice. You can also see kind of like some skin stretching off of the body right there. She is so incredibly talented as far as her sculpting ability goes to really create this pose in such a realistic way. The paintwork, of course, was all done by me, so this is, how mine turned out. Yours can turn out however you would like, but this paintwork, of course, is my interpretation of what this female Ceratosaurus could potentially look like, and the scale detail continues to look really nice as we move back throughout the body. You have the hip bone right here. You can see elaborated quite nicely, and then if you go to the underside, you can see it's nothing more than just like a flat area that the dinosaur lays on, so you don't see too much down here. You can see some nice detailing here to the legs on the underside, because this area of the legs is kind of sticking up a little bit, so you could potentially catch a glimpse of it, but all the areas that you wouldn't see at all, are just kind of like a flat area, so it makes perfect sense that you would have sculpted it that way, especially because the dinosaur's immense weight is all bearing down on that side, so it would really be, flattened out on that side of the ground, and again, perfectly done if you ask me. But you can see as we move out the length of the tail, again, we have some more really nice scale detail. The ridges run along the entire back of the dinosaur out to that tip of the tail. But now the more prominent side of the dinosaur, which is the area that we could see kind of sticking up more so than the previous side. We could take a look at the head sculpt, but it's not very easy to get close to that head sculpt, especially with the turn in the neck, because the turn with this fold and everything in the neck really doesn't allow us to get too close in that area, so we're going to have to kind of look at that from a little bit of a distance. But you can see again the head sculpt looks gorgeous, a really nice caring look from our Ceratosaurus as she takes a look back at her nest. You can see even the eyes again look very nice and peaceful over here on this side, and just like the previous side, the head sculpt is absolutely overloaded with gorgeous sculpt and detail, really nice texturing to the skin, some larger and smaller sized scales, very nice varying sizes to the scales, giving it an incredibly nice and realistic look. And then again, like I had mentioned previously, the really nice wrinkling there in the neck. As we move down into the body, you can see the arm sculpts over here. The arm sculpt looks really nice. Again, lots of nice creasing and wrinkling as we move down into the arm. The hands are sitting just like the one on the opposing side there was. The hand is sitting just like that, very nicely sculpted out nails. And then once we move back here into the stomach region, you can see lots and lots of beautiful skin wrinkles, again showing the twist in the body and the way that the dinosaur is laying. Just like up in the neck, she really portrayed that twist in the body perfectly as far as the sculpt goes, and you could see even areas of like the stomach kind of laying on the leg. It's just so insanely realistic the way that she has sculpted this, pretty much capturing every ounce of detail that you would find on a Ceratosaurus if it were laying like this, and she's applied it to the sculpt in brilliant fashion, and again really allowing some really nice dry brushing to be applied to your model, because the scale detail pops so nicely throughout the entire sculpt of the figure. As we move up here into the back, you can again see that ridge line that runs along the spinal column, and also the hip bone is present over here. You can also see some very nice muscle tone captured within the thigh and the calf region, but at the same time it looks nice and relaxed. It doesn't appear as though it's really flexing or anything. It's just generally a strong animal, and that's definitely exactly what a Ceratosaurus would be. And the scale detail continues to look incredibly nice as you move down the course of the leg. Even in the rear of the leg, you can see some more really nice skin wrinkles and stuff back here. The foot sculpts both look absolutely gorgeous, really nice and relaxed positioning for the feet. Again, she has just done such an insanely beautiful job on this model. Even the undersides of the feet are all very well done. You can see some nice wrinkling here as this foot is kind of like curled in. So you can see some wrinkling here to the underside of the feet. That's just so beautiful. You can kind of see like a scoot-like appearance sort of down the course of the feet and the toes. Dew claws and all are sculpted out right there. Again, the feet are just perfectly positioned and sculpted out for the positioning of the body. And as we move back up here into the tail, again, some more nice skin wrinkling going on. And then we run out the course of the tail. The tail has a nice curve to it as it's just relaxing on the ground. Some more skin wrinkles and stuff going on throughout the tail, and the scale detail continues to look just off the charts gorgeous. The ridges run down along the back until we get to about here, and then they taper off, and then we just have a nice tip to the tail right there. So this Ceratosaurus is just insanely beautiful. And then we have our base, which the base is just a really nice earthy area. It is beautifully sculpted as well, pretty much as highly detailed as the dinosaur itself, and you can see that there are lots of stones and stuff laying here and there, as well as some twigs and everything. Probably the twigs were potentially brought there thanks to the Ceratosaurus when it was building its nest, and you can see that the nest itself is really well done. Again, sporting some beautiful foliage that has been positioned perfectly into a nest for the really nice eggs. The eggs themselves are really well done also. You can see even some beautiful detail has been included within the eggs, and those eggs are really nice and small. Like you could see compared to my thumb that is very small as far as those eggs go, and she has managed to sculpt them out perfectly and apply some really nice detail. And again, the base is pretty much as fun to paint, I would say, as the dinosaur itself. And you can see again some more stones here and there as we go along. And the earthy area has a beautiful textured appearance to it, making it just an absolute blast to apply paint to and help to give it a bit of a more realistic look. And again, everything on this, again, just like I had stated before, is about as highly detailed as the Ceratosaurus itself. And once you apply your Ceratosaurus to it, it just really creates a gorgeous scene. And you can see the placement here for the arms, as the arms are kind of dug down into the dirt a little bit as the Ceratosaurus is relaxing. So that's kind of your guidelines as to where you want to lay your Ceratosaurus. You just want to take her, and then you're going to put her arms right there within those two areas. If I could do this, because it's hard looking through the camera, but once you put her arms in those two areas, again, the scene is complete and everything looks awesome. As far as our Ceratosaurus size goes, for a length on the Ceratosaurus, if we go from the tip of the tail to the back of the neck, you're looking at, I would say, around the 8.5-inch range, or about 21.5 centimeters. That is not an exact measurement because, again, with the Ceratosaurus laying in the position that it is laying in, it's not very easily accessible as far as a length goes. But if we go for a length on the base is about the 9-inch range, or about 23 centimeters. It may not look like that from your angle, but I have a little bit of a better angle outside of the camera right now. I can definitely tell you that that's what it is. And for a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Colovosaurus, and Robert Muldoon from the Mattel Jurassic World toy line in comparison to our Sarah Whelan-Devan Ceratosaurus. And you can definitely see that next to these guys, it does sport a pretty good size overall. It's nothing that's overly large, so if you're concerned about it taking up too much room in your collection, do not worry, because trust me, it is not an exceptionally large model. It is honestly a perfect size if you ask me. It's not too small, it's not too large, it's just sitting there in that perfect size range for something like this. I feel like everything on this is about as incredible as it gets as far as both the sculpt, the detailing aspect, the size. Everything is fantastic, and hopefully these here, in comparison to the Ceratosaurus, will help to give you a good idea of the size, but trust me when I tell you it is a perfect size. So this Ceratosaurus from Sarah Whelan-Devan is one of the nicest resin kits that I've ever had the pleasure of owning and taking a look at here. It is just incredible. Again, the thing I love the most about it is the fact that it creates a scene that you don't see often portrayed as far as a theropod goes. You know, it's common at times to see this from like a herbivore, especially if it's like a myosaur or something like that. You'll see this kind of thing all the time, but you don't see it too often from a theropod, especially a Ceratosaurus. So when I had initially seeing her post that she was going to be creating resin kits of this, I was so insanely interested instantly and really wanted to promote this to you guys. So of course I instantly threw it up in a news video because it's one of the nicest looking resin kits that I've ever seen, and I knew that instantly from the post that she had made, but seeing it here in person, it is even better than the original images had led me to believe. It's honestly so beautiful, and the fact that it comes with the Ceratosaurus complete and the base complete, you don't need any work really to it. You know, there might be your casual stuff as far as resin kits go. Sometimes you'll have like a little air bubble or something you might need to fix, but honestly, I didn't need to fix much of anything on this. Very, very little work was done to this because it was almost paint ready the moment it arrived, and that really says a lot about her overall quality when it comes to the kits that she creates. And then you take the fact that it's such a beautiful, very high quality cast, and then combine that with the fact that it portrays one of the coolest scenes that I've ever seen in a resin kit of a beautiful mother Ceratosaurus watching over her nest, and it's a surefire win. And then when you get nice and close to the model and you see how beautiful the detailing aspect is, it is insanely highly detailed, sporting every ounce of detail that should be on a living, breathing Ceratosaurus. If it were laying in this position, it is all perfectly present throughout the sculpt of this. Again, the skin wrinkles and everything on this are next level beautiful. There's so much going on showing the movement, especially when it comes to like the twisting of the body and the stomach region and the neck region. The twists in the body are perfectly sculpted out within the detailing aspect of the model, and that really amps up the overall realism of the scene portrayed before you. And the base itself, again, it's just so well done, sporting like different stones and rocks and sticks and everything, and then the incredibly nice vegetation there around the nest, the eggs themselves, everything is so perfectly sculpted and so realistically sculpted, also adding, some major elements of realism to the overall scene before us. So she's really gone the extra mile as far as not only creating a beautiful resin kit, but making sure that it looks as realistic and lifelike as possible. I feel like it's about as perfect as a resin kit gets, if you ask me. Of course, paint-wise, it's really up to you what you would like to do with it and paint it however you would like. This is what I came up with for mine. I thought it was a pretty decent look as far as a female Ceratosaurus would go, kind of like that doe type of a look as far as the paint application. But it's always up to you. You can even create it as like a male Ceratosaurus watching over the nest because, sometimes that's how it works, especially with birds. Currently, sometimes it's the male's job to watch over the nest, so you could always create it as a male Ceratosaurus, but I thought the female Ceratosaurus watching over her nest was just too perfect to resist, so I tried to apply, again, a very nice-looking female Ceratosaurus paint scheme to it, and I'm actually quite happy with the way it turned out, but I think a lot of that is due to just how good the sculpt is. It pretty much paints itself as you go. But again, a very, very high recommendation from me. If you are considering getting into painting dinosaurs, this is the perfect way to go. So make sure if you are interested, you check the description, as I will have a link to Sarah Whelan-Devan and where you can contact her to purchase this incredible Ceratosaurus kit. So make sure you check the description, make sure you order this. Trust me, you'll never in a million years regret this purchase. It is so beautiful. And make sure you also like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.